No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be fated for telling only lies. But my dreams, they're all as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours and I'm only lonely. My love is vengeance and I'll never be free. Anyway, VooTubers, it's me. I'm back. It's dirty bleeding rude, isn't it? Back again, flapping her bleeding gums on a Friday afternoon. Yes, VooTubers. Anyway, look what I found. I found us this old girl I have. Yes, old Gladys buried the gin till she's gone. Do you remember? I did brung her you before. I did. I think it was in the autumn of 21. I just don't know. But she was the premiere of your somewhere or other, New South Wales in your bleeding Australia. Well, I don't know about. What's the matter with the South of Wales in England? Why'd you have to have a new one in Australia just to copy us and try and be different? Just because it's probably a lot more sunnier over there? Just call it new. That's what you're like, you people. You have to go somewhere else and call it new, don't you? Yes, you do. Like New Zealand, did it? When they've got a perfectly acceptable Zealand down in the bleeding Holland land, haven't they? Or somewhere or other that no one gives a stuff about. Anyway, here we go. It's Gladys. And you're going to love this. You are going to love it. Possibly not a lot, but I find it really quite amusing. So let's go. Hello. Let's jump straight into dear old Glad. Come on, Glad. I never thought I'd live to hear the day that people at a political rally were shouting Gladys. But there you go. The world spins on, doesn't it, Vutu? Come on, Glad. Here we go. Gladys.
She's a wonderful person.
She is.
Gladys Burythegintillshesgone. Thank you very much.
She is.
I've known her for a very long time, and
Yes.
I've always known her to have
Yes.
the highest levels of integrity,
Right.
and to be a very honest person.
Well, that's good.
I never would have thought
Yes.
that Gladys Burythegintillshesgone would be
Yes.
the subject to this process. It's
No.
not something that would have ever crossed my mind.
No. Well, of course it wouldn't, because you're on a bleeding team, aren't you? Batting for the same bleeding team, aren't you? Eh? That's what they do. They go and get out talking heads, don't they? Yes, they do. Well, I didn't know she was like that. They all do that, don't they? It's called spin, my dear. Anyway, let's go. Come on, Glad. What you been up to, girl? Yes, I've been hearing about you. Yes, you've been playing hide the bleeding sausage, haven't you? Yes, you have. Come on then. Here we go. Gladys. 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 Don't you diss Glad. Yes?
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. Thank you.
When she
Tell the whole truth and nothing like the truth. Yes, there we go. I don't think God should really be brought into this. No. The other man lives the opposite of God.
first appeared
Come on.
before the Independent Commission Against Corruption,
Right.
Premier Gladys Berejiklian was
Yes.
merely a witness.
Ah,
The watchdog's focus
but
and
what did she witness? We're agog, aren't we? We are clasping eagerly at our arms of our seats, aren't we? What did you witness, Gladys? Come on, pray tell.
October 2020 was the former Liberal member
Ah.
for Wagga Wagga, Daryl
Now we're getting to the nub, aren't we? Yes, we bleeding well are. We're getting to the crux, or in this case, the crotch. Look at him. Honestly, he's the sort of fella you could put a photograph on your mantelpiece, keep the kids away from the bleeding fire, couldn't you, Vutu fellas? Yes! He was her, what one might call, love interest. Yes! Jesus bleeding Christ. Just goes to show you, doesn't it? They've got no sense. Yes, and even little discernment. Come on.
Maguire.
Yeah, Daryl Maguire.
Daryl Maguire had been around Macquarie
Right.
Street for a long time,
Mhm.
but he was always known as a bit of a wheeler and dealer.
No.
Maguire had resigned in 2018
Yes.
after a separate inquiry heard he'd sought commissions for property development deals.
Right.
The new ICAC inquiry was investigating whether
Oh.
he used his position to advance other business interests.
Right, so let's just stop it there, because the answer to that question that he poses is definitely yes. Yes, definitely. I mean, there's no two ways about it. The guy was a bleeding rogue. Yes, he bleeding well was.
And it had made an astonishing discovery.
Right?
You're in a close personal relationship with Mr.
That's
Maguire.
Yeah. I felt a little bit of sick coming to my mouth now, Vutu. I can't even. What? Oh, dearie me. We don't need to know these details, love. I'm not being funny. You could come out on the pool with me any night of the week, dear. Yes, you could. Yes. Oh, as ugly as I am, even I'd pull before you. Yes, the only thing you pull is your bleeding ankle or something or
It
other.
was kind of like, does she mean she was in a romantic relationship with Darren Maguire? And the shock was just incredible.
Oh dear. And the funny thing is that she said she wanted to marry him and maybe start a family. I think that also bolted, my love. Now, this is the trouble, ladies and gentlemen. Once you give old girls a load of HRT patches, this is what happens. They rampaging around the place they are, and they should know better. Here we go. Oh, it was like bleeding Romeo and Juliet, wasn't it? It's a gothic version.
Under oath, Berejiklian told the commission she and Maguire got together when she was treasurer.
Oh.
She kept seeing him.
Oh, I bet he got together with you when you were treasurer. Yeah, when you had your bleeding mitts in the till. Yes, he was on you like a bleeding rash, wasn't he, love? And poor old Gladys, she's never smiled since 1980 something or other. Look at her. I mean, that is definitely the look of a woman that most men would look at and think, "Gore, I want a bit of that." Yes, I do.
Even after she sacked him from the Liberal Party.
Yes.
Before finally calling it off in 2020.
Oh.
Well, I was shocked.
She called it off? Because from what I can gather, he was hot and bleeding cold to start with. But I think we'll find that out. Here we go. Here's Mystical Man here.
Very surprised. I'd never seen any suggestion of any kind of relationship between Gladys and Daryl.
ICAC heard telephone intercepts of...
Don't they look lovely? Is that their engagement photo or something or other? Look, she's put a pretty little frock on for... Yes, she has. Look. She's got a nice floral print. Yes, it always pulls the men, doesn't it? Yes, it does for you too. Especially a bit of cleavage showing or something or other. Actually, no, scratch that. Anyway, come on, Daryl.
Conversations between the pair where they called each other Hokus, an Armenian term of affection.
Right. I call them both bleeding horrible mugs, but never mind. Come on, Hocus.
Hello.
Hello.
Hocus, it's me.
Hello, Hocus.
How are you doing? Are you in the paddock already?
Oh,
No,
he's in the noddy. Yes, he is. Here, Gladys. Here. I've buried the gin till she's gone. Yes, I have. I've got too much shit to do. Too much shit to do is what one might call being an MP and actually doing what one might call work, but never mind. Too much shit he has going on. Come on.
That'll work. I've got too much shit on.
Yes. No sausage for you tonight then, glad girl.
After her appearance before the commission, Berejiklian said she was living through a personal nightmare.
Probably her best
I can't tell you what it's done to me personally. It's been devastating, and I've had to...
I can't tell you what it's done to me personally. Now, nothing happened to you. You actually made it happen. Yes? And then what happened was you got found out, my love. Yes! So don't act like a victim. You did it. You got bubbled up. You know, take it on the chin, love, or in your case, on your back, love, or knees, whatever. Either.
To bear this on top of everything else.
Yes.
She kept the confidence of
Poor
her
old
colleagues, survived 2 no-confidence motions,
Will you admit that you were his sounding board for corruption?
and launched a media blitz.
Sounding board, is that a new word? For bed buddies. I was going to use a word beginning with F, but I thought bed buddies might sound a bit more, YouTube friendly.
It's hard to take in, and it was a shock. It was a shock for me when I found out.
No, I found it so sexy. You got no idea.
Oh my God, take your tongue out of her liberal bleed. What's it? Derriere.
I had to tell the whole world about what I've been through.
No, what you've been through is what you got yourself into. I loved him. I'd never speak to him again. No, because I'll tell you what was happening here. He was playing you like a bleeding fiddle, love, wasn't he? Yes, he was, dear. Yes. And once he got what he wanted, he was just playing along. Yes, he was. Weren't you the treasurer, and then you become premier, and then he was the secretary of the Liberal Party, but he was an MP as well. So the mothership was the Liberal Party, which you and him had positions in. Yes, and then you got yourself elected, so you become premier, and he was an MP, and one thing and another. And then you hide the sausage, wasn't it, Vutu? Yes, it was, and we all know where he hid his bleeding sausage. Yes, his wiener.
He revealed the pair had been in love, contemplating marriage. He had a key to her home, and yet she never introduced him to her family.
No, of course she bleeding well didn't. He was just He was playing her, yeah. She was his bit on the side. She wanted commitment, but he didn't. He just wanted to sign lots of bits of paper so he could push through funding for his clay pigeon shooting something or other, that's club. That, I mean, you can see all the unemployed and working class people and what other people might call taxpayers, and all the many hundreds and hundreds of homeless and potentially homeless people that live in New South Wales. Yes, they're all going to be lining up to go clay pigeon shooting. Yes, they are. Yeah, in the event of, no social housing, but at least they can go clay pigeon shooting. And when they're done with that, they can go to a rather tastefully named music conservatoire, which is just another name for music school, in it, YouTube.
He wasn't my boyfriend. He wasn't anything of note.
Gladys was a very professional politician, capable.
You heard it first here. She was professional. Did she charge him? Because I know he charged her.
Fairly straight up and down.
There's a lot of up and down in.
No nonsense politician.
Right.
And I think that was one of her strengths as a premier.
Yes.
The public loved her, and they just...
Now, when you say the public loved her, obviously I am not Australian. I do have many relations in Australia, but obviously none of them talk to me. Well, to be fair, none of them know me. Genealogy and all that, you know what I mean. But now I've heard this on quite a few channels, that apparently the public loved her. Yes, they did. Now, when the media talking heads say the public, what they're referring to is the media and political classes, yes, and the civil services, yes, and those in power, the elites, the middle class, the upper middle class, those sort of people. I'm wondering, was it the everyday people on the street, people sat in doorways, people that are living in one motel room because there's literally no social housing and the landlords are putting up the rents excrementally over there, and there's young mums that work 7 days a week, 6 days a week, and have got nowhere to live? Was it those people that were really fond of Gladys? Because, I mean, Mrs. Thatcher, she ain't, is she? I mean, you've got to say that. She ain't no Mrs. Thatcher, now is she? Might be a Mrs. Snatch. Have to ask Daryl, won't we? Yes, we will. I'd rather not, though.
Definitely bought the story that she was dudded by a dodgy boyfriend who didn't treat her well.
BS. You're really up to your bleeding eyeballs. But because he's a rogue, he was playing it because she had the power. So he was just like, sign this, sign that, and, you might get a bit of a jumpy.
And then, left her heartbroken.
Look at the miserable.
I think there was this really strong sense that, Gladys Berejiklian was there when everybody needed her, and she'd been...
Now, who needed her? Because when you say she was there when everybody needed her, I did see all the footage for the draconian measures of the cough thing that was going on in 2020. Yes. Do you mean that? Or do you mean the bushfires and so-called floods? I don't know, but I just read it on here or heard it on here, yeah? Because it wouldn't have mattered who was there, would it really? Because whoever has got that job, that's their job to be there when people need them. So we can't say that that's actually to her credit. Oh, well, in her credit, she was there when there was bushfires. Yes, she was. She had the hose in her hand herself. Yes, she did. Admittedly, she thought it was Daryl's appendage, but you know what I mean. She was gripping it firmly, VTubers.
Dealt a rough hand.
The Premier clung on for another 12 months, leading New South Wales through the...
Was she a WEF stooge that has just done her bit and's now thrown out? Because they've probably all got their fingers in the till. But poor old Gladys, bury the gin till she's gone. Yes, her days, well, her life in the limelight is no more. And sadly, nor is there any social housing, and the homelessness is rife in Australia. Interest rates on mortgages have gone through the roof, but they do have another premier, much like Rishi Sunak, that I'm not sure anybody's voted for, but they've just had to replace her because she had to resign. I mean, don't quote me on it because I'm not Australian. I do not come from the great land of Oz. No, and nor does, what's her name here? Gladys. All right, Glad. All right, girl.
COVID crisis.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh dear, yeah, put your mask
Then
on.
ICAC confirmed she was no longer just a witness in its ongoing inquiry, but under investigation herself.
Resigning at this time is against every instinct in my being and something which I do not want to do.
No, because you're a brazen little madam and you don't care that you've been caught. And the thing is, none of these people do. It's like even some lowest street criminal. They don't just do something once and get caught the very first time, do they? They've usually got away with loads before they actually get caught for anything. That's my opinion. You know, that's my life experience. That's what I see, and that's my insight. That is my perception. And to be fair, I've seen more than enough of Gladys bury the gin till she's bleeding gone. She needs to dig it up and have a little swig on it herself now, though, doesn't she? Hey, what do you reckon, Vutu? Bye-bye now.